Martin Houston, how are you, my friend, on a Friday afternoon?
I'm doing well, Ryan, and you?
I'm great. I'm great. High school football back in this wonderful
Back at it.
community, and I know you're going to be out there supporting the Jags against Mountain Brook, right?
That's right. Northridge versus Mountain Brook tonight. So looking forward to a good game.
Should be very, very solid, and certainly high school football. And you think about the feeder system, the college game. All right, so let's talk a little Alabama football. All right, so I hear you each morning at 6 a.m., and I hear a lot of the encore hour following this program beginning at 6 p.m. What's been that number one conversation coming out of scrimmage on Saturday on the Blitz?
Saban's ability to poop players. No, just kidding.
Yeah, how about that comment from Nick Saban?
That was a great one, no, it's been the same topic. It's been the number one topic, since the national championship game, and that's the quarterback conversation. And I heard Greg McElroy saying that quarterback has always been, a controversy or a conversation or always a battle. And that's true to a certain extent under Saban, but I just don't think there's ever been anything like this, Ryan. You have a guy that's 26-2 as a starter. Alabama's 27-2 in games that he's played in, whether he started them or finished them, either way. And then the other guy that's competing is a guy that potentially, if he lives up to his potential, could be one of the best to ever play here, at any point, any career. And it's not normal where you have a guy who has played this many games, been this successful, and he's in an all-out battle to, not just hold his job, but even be a part of the conversation if he loses the job.
So when you think about this, as we're 8 days away, and I've asked you this question for the last 3 or 4 weeks in a row, there is no way that you're on that team and you don't know who the starter. You know what I mean? I mean, there's got to be some type of. I mean, Nick Saban even talking about game mode yesterday, install as they get ready for Louisville coming up in Orlando. You got to know who the quarterback is, right? I mean, on that team.
Well, I don't. It's really according to how he's doing. He's doing it. I think you may know who the guy's gonna take the first reps, Ryan. But this is the part I don't know. Is Nick Saban being genuine with us when he says if both of these guys can play, then we're gonna use both of them? If he's being genuine in that sense, you may know which guy is the first team guy, but you may still believe that both of these guys are gonna play. But it's very unlikely. Unless he does what he did, Ryan, when I went to the scrimmage, it was back and forth. So watching it, I was like, okay, David 7, and then Tua came out with, and then when they went red zone, Jalen came out, and it was like every part of the drill, he was letting a different guy start. Now, if what wins the team most of the time wins the team is effective play and who's moving the ball. And if one guy has been consistent, as we've heard from camp, from Tua, from start to finish, then he's clearly out front. But if that hasn't been the case, and that's the part we've heard from different sources that's been the case, so we have no reason to doubt it, then I would say that they do know that who's the lead guy, but that doesn't mean that that's who Saban to pull the trigger on as the starter, because you know as well as I do, we were hearing all camp when Jalen was a freshman that he was the one that was having the best camp. But when they ran out on the field the first time, they ran out. So, that's why I say we can know, but what Saban decides to do is another whole story.
Let me ask you, I want you to walk back to your playing days here at the University of Alabama. We're talking with Martin Houston, host of the Blitz, beginning mornings at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m., the Encore edition. Martin, let me walk back to camp. 8 days away, whether it's 1992 or 1991, 1990, when you get to this point of camp, give me the thought process of just grinding, just getting through these final few days. What is that like? Is it fourth quarter, 2 minutes to go? I mean, what's this like when you get to kind of day 20 of camp, when you've got a few more days and you're still fighting for your starting playing time and all those significant roles?
Well, to me, and you've heard Saban say this, the grind is not as bad as it used to be, in my opinion, because it's just one day. The length of time is still the same, but the physical grind isn't. At this point, man, we were trying to figure out, oh God, when are they going to let up? When are they going to start cutting back? And they really didn't until game week. So that was number one. Number two, Ryan, you're right, man. It's like when you're so tired of hitting your teammates, you just want something to give you a break or reprieve that you're hitting the other guy, and it just seems like it just goes on and on and on. And to me, yesterday, today, and tomorrow were like the longest 3 days of camp. You know what I mean? Because the reality of it is, this time next week, you're counting down to the game. Starting on Monday, you really are getting prepared to play Louisville. So it flips. But these last yesterday, today, and tomorrow were like, to me, the worst days. Just because that if I can make it through this little hump, this little stretch, we're now getting ready for game week, and so it lifts a lot of the grind, and plus the practice schedule changes and everything shifts more toward game preparation.
All right, are we falling into the Nick Saban trap? And here's what I'm talking about. When he keeps talking about scoring points, this may be a different-looking team. I know we've kind of fallen to that with some of the injuries, but you look at the starting 11, they're going to be pretty solid, may not have the depth. But are we falling right into Nick Saban's wheelhouse as he tries to motivate some of these younger guys to maybe play a significant role? What are you expecting from the defensive side of the football?
I said it on my show on the Blitz. This front seven on this defense, Ryan, maybe as good and as talented as any front seven Alabama's ever had. And if they can make teams one-dimensional, meaning that they're stout against the run, and then they put them in passing situations, then look for these young DBs to potentially be playmakers, because now it's one thing when you have both running and passing and you're young secondary, but when you're one-dimensional, it makes it a lot easier to play. Sort of like 2-minute warning. When you know it's 2-minute warning and you know that they have to pass the ball, you have a little different pep in your step. So I think this defense has that type of ability up front. They can stay healthy. I'm not buying this whole we have to score more points. To me, if Alabama's gotten where we need Tua to start, Ryan, to score more than we've been scoring in the third. If Alabama has to now be a team that has to score 46 win, they're not a national championship team to me. I mean, I'm not trying to be ugly with that, but you know who they remind me of? Oklahoma. That's what Oklahoma's been. That's what the Big 12 has been. Big 12 has been. That's what those teams do. And then when they get to the national championship, the college football playoffs, the BCS, they get exposed and they get embarrassed, because one thing you can do is you can be great offensively, but it only takes one off day. Defense travels. It's sort of like shooting in basketball. And if you can keep a team down, then I think it's going to be huge. And so I hope that Nick Saban is doing this, Ryan, to make them keep working and not that we have to score that many points. Because, like I said, I don't like our chance going into a Clemson game against that Clemson defense, and our chance of winning is that we score 40-something points.
All right, Martin, I'm gonna read a comment here just for a couple of seconds. Media guys out here, sometimes we get these bold predictions. I just read a couple of minutes ago, we're a pretty recognized guy. made a prediction that Ole Miss was going to beat Alabama. You buying?
Who? Who's going to beat Alabama?
Ole Miss.
See, that's just somebody that wants to pray and be lucky. No,
Is that what it is? Hey,
yes.
but
sometimes.
I did catch Martin. I did catch a Mississippi State guy a couple of minutes ago. We're here. The championship trophy is going to be here literally like in 5 minutes. Matter of fact, I think it just rolled in like literally as we're speaking. They're going to get it set up with a security team. I did see a Mississippi State guy that walked by. He wanted to get a peek at that national championship trophy.
I'm not trying to be ugly, but that's probably the only way they're going to see one. For somebody
sure.
else. I mean, but right, these bold predictions, like right now, I mean, let's be clear. When I say this is not a national championship team, if we have to score 40-something points to win every big game, the big games I'm talking about is the LSU, the SEC championship, the Auburns of the world, and the college football playoffs. All these other teams, I mean, I don't. You know, I don't see any team scoring 30 points on us, with the exception of possibly one of the teams when we get into the college football playoffs or the SEC.
You realize how much of a spoiled, rotten fan base we are? I mean, we're talking about 5 out of the last 9 championships has been won by the University of Alabama. They just literally pulled the black velvet cover off, and it's like 3 feet from me. And I'm looking at this championship trophy. There's fan bases that have never had a chance to watch their team win one. And we've watched our team win 5 out of the last 9. We are certainly blessed, my friend.
That is an understatement, Ron. Actually, last night, I don't know why it crossed my mind, but I was thinking literally 2 seconds from winning 6 for sure and probably 7. You think the 1 second against Clemson and the 1 second against Auburn. We totally forget how close, because I believe that Alabama team beat that Florida State team. And if we make that one play against Clemson, you know, we win that one. So when you really think about it, not only have we won 5, but literally seconds away from having secured 6 for sure, because if we make that one play against Clemson, we definitely have 6. And then, of course, I think Alabama was the best team in the country that year as they lost to Auburn and, you know, on the 1 second fiasco. So we're definitely a little bit spoiled. Ryan, anytime you have a quarterback controversy in the argument, think about the argument. The argument is we need to get a new starting quarterback because he can't win games, can't win the national championship game. Not he can't win. He can't win the national championship game. That's why we need a new starter.
All right, so I'm going to give you a disclaimer before I'm going to throw it back to you in a couple of seconds. Okay.
Okay.
Jay Barker is going to be coming up here a little bit later. We're going to feature him. I mean, he handed the ball off to you many times. All right. Now keep in mind, I'm going to ask him his best Martin Houston story. But you get the first crack at this thing, okay? I want you to tell me your best Jay Barker story.
Jay Barker story, man, you got to give me a little heads up. But, Ryan, you know, what's interesting is it's really not anything about football, probably as much as it is just kind of the Jay Barker story. You know, I mean, Jay was a kid that was, you know, not that heavily recruited. I remember when he got here, he was barely, maybe 6 foot tall, okay? Barely, if he was. And, you're kind of like, okay, is this guy going to be a quarterback? What was Homer thinking? What did Homer see? And they went home one summer, and he came back, he was 6'3".
Wow, okay.
It was the craziest thing. And so I was just talking to him the other day, and guess what? His son came here when he graduated high school, wasn't quite 6 foot. Now he's over 6'2". I said it's the exact same thing. So, but the thing I remember most about Jay, Ryan, is the guy just came in with the work ethic, and he worked hard. And when his opportunity was presented, he took advantage of it, and he never relinquished it. I remember him coming in as that wide-eyed kid against Florida in the second half against Florida. And then when he came in for the starter, it wasn't quite the results that Tua had, but we got beat 35-0. But from that point on, Jay Barker went on to win, I think, 28 straight games or something like that. But that first night when he came in against Florida in that second half, he was kind of wide-eyed, and you could definitely tell he was a young kid, but he handled it well, and he worked from there to get better. And the fondest memory I remember is from that kid that came in there to the one that came, and that was, on stage in New York as a Heisman Trophy winner. Candidate. Nobody ever gave him a chance to do that. But because of work ethic and his character and the way he went about his business, he did some special things for Alabama.
Absolutely. And as we continue to watch the people come by and celebrate this national championship trophy, come by Target. It's absolutely free. It's presented by Buffalo Rock and Dr. Pepper. So as we're sitting here watching this championship, and I've been in awe just sitting here staring at this thing for the last few minutes, as weighs like 35 pounds, and you talk about 26 and a half inches. But it's not about this one. Nick Saban would not allow us to look back at the one that was won with Tua Tagovailoa. He wants us to talk about the next one. All right, Martin, let me put you on the spot. August 24th, 2018. In your opinion, do you think this team can win another one? You think they have what it takes to be hoisting up the trophy in Santa Clara, California, coming up that first week of January? Do you think this team can do it?
I think this team can do it with the following conditions, Ryan. I think that the quarterback play has to be quarterback play that is balanced and distributing the ball to the weapons. If that's Tua, then great. If it's Jalen, it means that he's gotten better and he's able to do that. But they have to use all of their weapons offensively to keep this young defense in the game early. I think once we get past the early part of the season, Ryan, if we can get past it with no injury, then we're not going to be a young team anymore. You need to understand, Ryan, when I finished, our regular season ended with 11 games. So now by the time they get to the playoffs and all of that stuff, they've played a full college season. So if Alabama can stay healthy and get through without any losses, with the LSU and the Mississippi State, I think that's going to be their hurdles because those are the physical teams. And if they can make it through those, then I think this young defense won't be so young anymore, and then they'll be able to go into the playoffs with an offense that's explosive and a defense that has matured. And if that front 11 stay healthy and they create just a little bit more depth at the outside linebackers, I think this team will be winning number 18.
Can you think about it? 6 out of the last 10. That's even really hard to even wrap your brain around. 6 out of the last 10. It's absolute. Like I said, we are a bunch of spoiled, rotten Alabama fans. That's what we are. It's what we expect. And Nick Saban could talk about, we shouldn't, all my fans and the comment that we talked about. But he's made it look easy. It's his fault.
Yeah, right. Think about this, Ryan. For what, the 11th year in a row, we've been number one at some point in the season. There's teams. I'm not talking about.
11 years.
I'm not talking about the also-rans. I'm talking about major college programs. There are major college programs that have never been number one 11 times. Let's not be funny. How many times has Auburn been number one? How many times has Georgia been number one? Other than Ohio State and Michigan, really go back and look. I would like to know how many teams how many colleges have never been number one 11 times in the AP poll, and he's done it 11 consecutive years. At some point, that means 11 years in a row, at some point, either preseason or during the season, he had a chance to win a national championship. Because you can't get to a championship unless you've ever been number one. And he's done it 11 years in a row.
All right, Martin, let me throw it back to you as you get ready to go to high school football. Talk about your agency here for a couple of minutes, and we'll let you go.
All right, Alabama One Agency Insurance Services. We're owned by Alabama One Credit Union, full-service insurance agency offering auto, home, life, commercial, business. If you're looking to have it insured, we can help you with that. We have great rates. We have great carriers, great service, and great claim service. So insurance is not any good till you need it. And we tell you we have A-plus companies, A-plus rated companies, and that's what we're providing for you. So give us a call over at Alabama One Agency Insurance Services, 205-342-0112, or visit us online at alabamaoneagency.com. And remember this, at Alabama One, the credit union, we finance it for you. Alabama One Agency, we insure it for you. Finance here, insure here, alabamaoneagency.com.
Thank you, Martin. Hope you have a great weekend. Good luck to those Northridge Jags as they take on Mountain Brook. We appreciate you, man. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it. Roll Tide.